In the ancient land of Egypt, a profound disquiet descended upon the royal palace. Pharaoh, the mighty ruler, found his nights disturbed by visions of unsettling power and perplexing symbolism. These dreams were not mere fleeting images, but vivid narratives that gripped his mind with an insistent urgency. One night, Pharaoh experienced a dream of remarkable clarity and disturbing consequence. He stood by the great river Nile, the lifeblood of his kingdom, when from its waters emerged 7 cows. These were magnificent creatures, healthy and fat, their hides gleaming with vitality as they grazed peacefully among the reeds. Yet, this scene of pastoral tranquility was abruptly shattered. Following the healthy cows, 7 more emerged from the river, but these were starkly different. They were ugly and gaunt, their bodies emaciated and their appearance wretched. To Pharaoh's horror, these sickly beasts advanced upon the healthy cows and devoured them whole, leaving no trace behind. The first dream faded, only to be replaced by another, equally vivid and disturbing. Pharaoh saw 7 ears of grain, full and healthy, growing robustly on a single stalk. They promised a bountiful harvest, rich with the promise of sustenance for his people. But then, 7 other ears sprouted forth, thin and blighted, withered by some unseen affliction. These meager ears, devoid of life and substance, proceeded to swallow up the healthy, full ears. The abundance was consumed by scarcity, leaving only desolation in its wake. Pharaoh awoke from these visions deeply agitated and profoundly disturbed. The vividness of the dreams, coupled with their unsettling imagery, left him with a sense of impending doom. He knew these were not ordinary dreams, but portents demanding immediate understanding. Driven by this urgent need for clarity, Pharaoh summoned all the magicians and wise men of Egypt. He gathered his most esteemed interpreters, those renowned for their knowledge of omens and their ability to decipher the mysteries of the unseen world. He recounted his dreams to them in meticulous detail, seeking their profound wisdom. Yet, despite their collective knowledge and their earnest efforts, none of the wise men were able to provide a satisfactory interpretation. The dreams remained an impenetrable enigma, deepening Pharaoh's anxiety and leaving the most powerful man in Egypt without answers. Amidst Pharaoh's growing frustration, a memory stirred in the mind of his chief cupbearer. He recalled a time of personal distress when he himself had been imprisoned and had encountered a young Hebrew man with an extraordinary gift. This youth, Joseph, had accurately interpreted dreams. The cupbearer recounted to Pharaoh how Joseph had, with divine insight, revealed the meaning of his own dream and that of the chief baker. His words had proven true, leading to the cupbearer's restoration and the baker's tragic fate. This recollection offered a glimmer of hope in the palace's despair. Upon hearing this account, Pharaoh wasted no time. He immediately issued a command for Joseph to be brought forth from the dungeon. The urgency of the situation demanded swift action, and the young Hebrew, long forgotten in the confines of the prison, was now the kingdom's last hope. Joseph was hastily prepared for his audience with the mighty ruler. He shaved and changed his clothes, shedding the garments of a prisoner before appearing in the royal presence. He stood before Pharaoh, a humble figure, yet imbued with a quiet dignity. When Pharaoh presented his dreams, Joseph spoke with profound humility, attributing his ability not to himself, but to the Almighty. He declared that the interpretation would come from God, who alone could reveal the meaning of such divine communications. This declaration set a sacred tone for the encounter. Pharaoh then recounted both of his disturbing dreams to Joseph, detailing the emergence of the fat and gaunt cows from the Nile and the healthy and blighted ears of grain on the single stalk. He spoke of the consumption of the strong by the weak, and the profound unease these visions had instilled within him. Joseph listened intently, then explained that both dreams conveyed the same message, for they were a unified revelation from God. He declared that the repetition signified the certainty and imminence of the events foretold, emphasizing the divine origin and the inescapable nature of the prophecy. He interpreted the 7 healthy cows and the 7 full ears of grain as 7 years of unparalleled abundance. Egypt would experience a period of extraordinary prosperity, with harvests so bountiful that the land would overflow with produce. This would be a time of great blessing. Conversely, Joseph interpreted the 7 gaunt and ugly cows and the 7 thin and blighted ears as 7 years of severe famine. This period of scarcity would follow the years of plenty, bringing widespread desolation and hardship across the land. The famine would be so grievous that it would consume all memory of the preceding abundance. The repetition of the dream, Joseph reiterated, was God's way of showing Pharaoh that the matter was firmly established. These events were decreed and would surely come to pass, and that God was bringing them to pass quickly. The message was clear, certain, and urgent. Having delivered the divine interpretation, Joseph did not stop there. He proceeded to offer Pharaoh strategic counsel, born of the same divine wisdom that had revealed the dream's meaning. He advised the ruler to appoint a wise and discerning man to oversee the entire land of Egypt. This individual would be entrusted with a monumental task. Joseph suggested a practical and far-reaching plan. During the 7 years of great abundance, 1/5 of all the surplus grain should be collected and stored. This would be a systematic effort, gathering the excess produce from every corner of the kingdom. This foresight was crucial for the survival of the nation. This vast reserve of stored grain would serve as a vital safeguard against the impending famine. It would be held in the cities, under strict control, ensuring that when the years of scarcity arrived, Egypt would possess the necessary provisions to sustain its people. This strategic preparation was the key to averting disaster. Pharaoh was profoundly impressed by Joseph's wisdom and the depth of his insight. The young Hebrew had not only interpreted the dreams, but had also presented a viable and comprehensive solution to the looming crisis. Pharaoh recognized the extraordinary nature of the man before him. Pharaoh openly acknowledged that the Spirit of God was clearly within Joseph. He saw in Joseph not merely a clever interpreter, but a man divinely endowed with understanding and foresight. This recognition elevated Joseph beyond a simple advisor to a figure of immense spiritual authority. With this profound realization, Pharaoh made a momentous decision. He elevated Joseph to the position of second in command over all of Egypt, a power second only to Pharaoh himself. This was an unprecedented rise for a former prisoner, a testament to his divine favor and exceptional abilities. To symbolize his new authority, Joseph was bestowed with the insignia of his high office. Pharaoh removed his own signet ring and placed it on Joseph's hand, granting him the power to issue decrees. He clothed Joseph in robes of fine linen, a mark of nobility, and placed a gold chain around his neck, signifying his elevated status. Furthermore, Joseph was given a new Egyptian name, Zaphnath-Paneah, meaning God speaks and he lives, or revealer of secrets. He was also married to Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, a priest of On, thus integrating him fully into the highest echelons of Egyptian society. Joseph, now 30 years old, embarked upon his monumental task with unwavering dedication. He traveled throughout the length and breadth of Egypt, personally overseeing the implementation of his strategic plan. His leadership was instrumental in preparing the nation for the coming trials. During the 7 years of unparalleled plenty, Joseph meticulously directed the collection and storage of grain. He gathered vast quantities of produce, storing it in the cities until the amount was so immense it could no longer be measured. The land yielded its bounty in abundance, and Joseph ensured it was preserved. Before the arrival of the predicted famine, Joseph was blessed with a family. He fathered 2 sons with Asenath, Manasseh, meaning causing to forget. For God had made him forget all his toil and his father's house, and Ephraim, meaning fruitful, for God had made him fruitful in the land of his affliction. When the 7 years of abundance concluded, the predicted famine descended upon the land, just as Joseph had foretold. The earth ceased to yield its produce, and scarcity gripped the surrounding nations. However, Egypt, under Joseph's wise administration, was prepared. While other lands suffered grievously, Egypt had food. Joseph opened the storehouses, and the grain was rationed to the Egyptian people, ensuring their survival. The foresight and diligent preparation had saved the nation from widespread starvation. The fame of Egypt's abundance spread far and wide. People from all over the known world, desperate for sustenance, journeyed to Egypt to buy grain from Joseph. His strategic counsel, born of divine revelation, had not only saved Egypt, but had also become a source of life for countless others.